You may think that the consulting interview is over once you finish the case interview, but it is not. Asking questions at the end of your consulting interviews is a great opportunity to leave a positive and memorable impression. The quality of the questions that you ask actually help determine whether or not you'll pass your interview and be moved on to the next round. If you're planning to interview with consulting firms but haven't prepared the exact questions you plan to ask at the end of your interviews, then this video is for you. I'm a former Bain manager and interviewer, and I'm going to share with you the two types of questions you should ask. The first type of question you should ask are personalized questions focused on the interviewer. The goal of asking personalized questions focused on the interviewer is to connect and bond with the interviewer. The more the interviewer likes you, the more likely they are to pass you on to the next round or give you a job offer. So, how do you get the interviewer to like you? One of the simplest ways to do this is to express genuine interest in the interviewer's career and life. It is human nature for people to enjoy talking about themselves. If you ask personalized questions to the interviewer to get them to talk about their work and life experiences, they will naturally have a tendency to have a positive impression of you. The key to this strategy is that you need to actively listen when the interviewer is answering your question and be genuinely interested in what they have to say. Here are 8 of the best personal questions you can ask. What was the most challenging case that you worked on? What has been your favorite case so far? What do you enjoy the most and least about your job? Looking back at your first year in consulting, what would you have done differently? Do you plan on staying in consulting for the foreseeable future, or do you have any ideas on what you would like to do next? I noticed that you have a very interesting career background. I would love to understand how you got to the point in your career today. How did you become interested in consulting? And how did you choose the industry or specialty that you are currently in? Before we move on to the second type of question you should ask, please give this video a like and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more consulting interview content. There may be times when the interviewer does not like talking about themselves or like sharing their personal experiences. There may also be times when you feel that you have not communicated strongly enough your interest in consulting and the firm. In either of these situations, it may be better to ask the second category of questions: intelligent questions focused on consulting or the firm. The goal of asking these types of questions is to demonstrate that you are genuinely interested in consulting and the firm. Here are 8 of the best questions to ask. What are attributes or qualities of the most successful consultants? What advice would you give an incoming consultant? What do you see as the biggest opportunities or challenges for the company? How do the core values of the firm impact how the firm's employees work with each other and clients? Can you speak more to the culture of this particular office? How does it differ from other offices, if at all? What do you think are the biggest misconceptions about consulting? What should a new consultant expect to accomplish in their first year? I'm really interested in this specific industry, function, or program. Can you speak to the opportunities to get more involved? Now that you know what questions you should ask, make sure to follow these 3 critical tips. Tip number 1, ask follow-up questions. After the interviewer has finished answering your question, don't just move on to asking another question. Instead, try to ask a follow-up question to go into more detail on the interviewer's answer. Asking follow-up questions shows that you are genuinely interested in what the interviewer has to say and that you have been listening closely. Tip number 2, practice active listening. After you ask your question, don't just zone out. Practice active listening by giving the interviewer eye contact, occasionally nodding that you understand, and giving your genuine reactions to what the interviewer is saying. Sending these affirmative signals to the interviewer while they are answering your question will make it more likely that they have a positive impression of you. Everyone loves a good listener. And finally, tip number 3, make it a conversation. You don't want to be asking so many questions that the interviewer feels like they are being interviewed. Instead, try to turn the dialogue into a conversation. After the interviewer has finished answering your question, don't always jump right into asking another question. Share an interesting story or experience with the interviewer that is relevant. Express your opinions or beliefs on the topic. This can be an opportunity for you and the interviewer to discover commonalities. The more commonalities you show with the interviewer, the more likely they are to like you. Now that you know what questions to ask at the end of your consulting interview, you can focus your time preparing for consulting case interviews and behavioral interviews. If you need help with these, make sure to check out our comprehensive case interview course and consulting behavioral interview course linked in the description below. We teach the most effective consulting and case interview strategies to save you hundreds of hours of time and help you land multiple consulting offers.